Hey everybody, what's up my awesome YouTubers? It is Ryan1988 and I am back with episode 4 of Retrospective and Memories. And if you guys have not been a part of one of these streams, I normally love to bring on a guest. I don't have a guest with me tonight, but um, these streams I like to talk about some, obscure underrated kind of lost gems. I'm pretty sure, people have seen these movies, but they're films I like to showcase and I like to talk about. So the first episode we talked about Witchboard. Episode 2 we talked about Fright Night, and then episode 3 we talked about Sometimes They Come Back, which is a great Stephen King adaptation. So some great movies we've talked about. What's up, Art? How are you doing? What's going on? I am doing great, buddy. I hope you're doing great as well. Thank you for stopping in. About ready to talk some Flatliners, which I love that movie. So, but I was just talking about the series, and I like to showcase movies that just don't get enough talk, or cult classic movies. A lot of my favorites, and maybe these are movies that some people have seen. There's a fan base definitely out there for them, but if you have never seen them, these are movies that I hope will get you to go watch them. But Art, how are you doing tonight? Thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. Let's see. I haven't seen Flatliners. That movie has always escaped the clutches of my intrigue, but I'm in the mood for something new and different, so I'll watch it soon. Definitely do so, Art. This is one of my favorites. This is such a great one. We're going to talk about it in just a moment. Yeah, absolutely love it. Antonis, how are you? What's going on, buddy? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. I cannot wait to talk about this great Joel Schumacher 1990 movie that kind of falls under the radar. I mean, it has a fan base. People do talk about it. People know the name. But obviously, if you haven't seen it, this is one to definitely check out. Or if it's been a while since you've seen it, you definitely need to go back and watch it. Let's see. That's great, Art. Let's see. I'm enjoying some wine, listening to 80s, 90s, YTK, and dance. Some amazing music. I love 80s and 90s music. Those are some of my go-to. That's my go-to music of the decade. So I love that. But anyway, guys, let's get started talking about 1990s Flatliners. And by the end of this, by the way, we're going to talk about some other 90s horror movies. And I tried to pick some obscure ones, some ones that a lot of people don't talk about, because I think 90s horror movies, some people don't consider it to be the best decade of horror movies and thrillers, which my favorite is the 80s. But I really think there's some great 90s horror movies and thrillers out there outside of like Scream, and I Know You Did Last Summer, and Urban Legend, which that's kind of underrated. I kind of want to talk about, or I do want to talk about some 90s horror movies and thrillers at the end of this video. So but anyway, guys, Flatliners. So released, I believe, August 10th of 1990, directed by the late Joel Schumacher, who directed the classic The Lost Boys, St. Elmo's Fire, the Batman movies, Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, Phantom of the Opera. So many great, some cult classic movies out there from the 80s and 90s. Joel Schumacher, was one of my favorite directors. Rest in peace. He directed some great ones out there. And I feel like Flatliners is one of his most obscure ones. The story is about medical students, 5 medical students who attempt and are able to, kill themselves for 2 minutes or so and then bring themselves back to life. They basically want to see what death is like, and then again they're able to bring themselves back to life. And once they do that, a lot of dark pasts come back to them. A lot of their history comes back and starts haunting them. So each one, when they die and they come back to life, some dark history of their past comes back to haunt them. And that's kind of the plot of it without giving too much away. But a couple things I want to talk about. First thing, the memories I have with this movie. I remember seeing this movie quite a bit on TV, and then having a recorded VHS copy of this movie. So like you would have like 3 or 4 movies at least on a VHS tape, a blank VHS tape. And Flatliners, I remember being one of those movies, and always just being fascinated with it, always loving it. And the memories I have, growing up, I'll always remember like little moments throughout it. And so when I went back and I revisited the movie about 5 years ago, I remember just loving it so much. I remember it holding up really well. So this was one of those early memory VHS tape days, watching it on TV every so often. But yeah, those are my memories with Flatliners, and I love it. So I love those memories you have with movies, whether it be Flatliners or something else. We always have those movies that stick with us, and we have those memories, and Flatliners is that one for me. So but yeah, let's go through these guys. Let's see, go through some of these comments real quick. Art says 90s was less cheesy than the 80s, but still just as iconic. I agree with that. I definitely agree. Definitely wasn't as cheesy as the 80s, but it is definitely iconic with 80s movies and 80s horror movies. So and then Art, he says, love the 90s Batman movies. I do too. I think Joel Schumacher's films kind of get a little bit too much hate. They're not perfect by any means, but they're definitely watchable. Like Batman Forever, I think is actually a really good movie. I really enjoyed that. And Batman and Robin, I saw that in theaters, and I had a blast with it when I was a kid. It's definitely not as good now, but I could still watch it and enjoy it. And I love the Tim Burton ones, obviously. And then didn't Joel direct Twister, or am I wrong? He did not direct that one. I'm trying to remember. Did he direct Twister? You'll have to let me know. If somebody can, look that up, let me know. But I don't think he did. I think the director who directed Twister directed The Neverending Story, which I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. But maybe he did. Yes, I think he directed Twister. I could be wrong. I think Joel directed Twister. Let me know if he did. I could be wrong, but I haven't seen Twister in such a long time. But I think he did direct Twister. So let's see. Art says, yeah, I read the synopsis of Flatliners and I was like, yikes, no bueno for those peeps. Yeah, it's an interesting synopsis of the movie, and it's very effective and eerie, which we'll be talking about that. So Antonis, is Flatliners a horror movie? I think it falls in the line of a horror movie thriller. So if you're a fan of thrillers, it's definitely one to check out. But if you're a fan of horror movies, it definitely has some elements of that, especially when each one who dies and comes back, when their history comes back to haunt them, there's some dark, eerie moments throughout it. I remember the Julia Roberts one got me. It's a very serious topic about suicide, but that one was very eerie for me. And then there's one with the death of a child. I think it's Kiefer Sutherland's past that comes back to haunt him. And I think that one was quite creepy too. So there's definitely some eerie moments throughout the film. It definitely has an eerie tone to it. And even the opening of the movie, right when it opens, when you have the credits, there's this really haunting, eerie score that plays throughout the opening credits. So yeah, there's definitely some suspenseful horror movie elements in there. So Art says kind of like Ghost Ship or 13 Ghost. Yes, Justin. In some ways. In some ways, definitely. Like what I love about like Ghost Ship and 13 Ghost, even though they weren't they didn't take place in the 90s. They obviously did not come out in the 90s. They still had that, late 90s, early 2000s feel that I love. So, this one, somewhat similar to those. Somewhat similar. Let's see. We got some comments coming in, guys. I'm going to get through these. Anton is definitely check out Flatliners. I used to have the novels. I can't say. I used to have the novel. I'm just going to say that of Batman and Robin. I was so excited for the movie as a kid. LOL. Hey, I saw it in theaters and I had a blast with it. What's up, Ben? I've only seen the remake. Definitely check out the original. We will talk about the remake a little bit though. Jamie, how are you? And she found the director. I'm not even going to try to. I don't want to even mispronounce his name, but I think he directed the Speed movies, which the first Speed's iconic. But yeah, Twister. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I remember really enjoying it. Need to go back and watch it. How are you doing, Jamie? And Art says I get so excited for Twister every time I see it on TV. Nice. Let's see. Ben, I'm in Oklahoma, and I remember they did a premiere here with all the stars. With Flyliners? Let me know. Or for Twister. For Twister. I see your comment for Twister. Very cool. Makes me want a steak and eggs with mashed potatoes. And I get so mad every time Jamie Gertz rejects the bread. Let's see. Let's see. All our local weather people were in it, although it was shot in Kansas. Jamie says, I saw Flatliners in theaters when it came out. It certainly had an eerie atmosphere. I agree, Jamie. It definitely has an eerie atmosphere. But let's see. But anyway, guys, so one of the things that I want to talk about with uh, Flatliners now is kind of going through the cast because, like with a lot of Joel Schumacher movies, especially St. Elmo's Fire, The Lost Boys, and this movie, you really had a great ensemble here, a great cast in it. So, starting off, Keith Sutherland, obviously from Lost Boys and some other Joel Schumacher movies that he would be in, and Stand By Me, and so many great films and television shows. He's one of the main leads in this. And he does such a great job. He's the one that confronts his past with the death of the little boy. And yeah, Keith Sutherland's great. I think he's great in pretty much anything that I've seen him in. The Vanishing, which is a great 90s one, I absolutely love. He's great in that. So, you have Keith Sutherland in here. A young Julia Roberts is in this movie. This was, I think, either I would say this came out. I would say this came out after Pretty Woman. I think Pretty Woman came out in February or March of 1990, and this came out in August of 1990. But again, great in this movie. I love Julia Roberts, especially like her earlier stuff, like Pretty Woman, Still Magnolias, Flatliners, Sleeping with the Enemy. She's been in some great movies. But again, I love her early 90s stuff. And she does a great job in this. And again, her memory and her history is that, she has to confront the death of her father who committed suicide, or tried to commit suicide. It's been a while since I've seen it, but she has to confront her father's death in the movie. And I remember as a kid, that was a pretty eerie story as well. Kevin Bacon's in this movie. Obviously, I love Kevin Bacon. He's been in so many great films. I'm going to be talking about another Kevin Bacon movie in just a little bit, but he's great in this. And Footloose, Friday the 13th, Hollow Man, so many great movies that I'm just forgetting right now. But Kevin Bacon, great in this. William Baldwin, one of the Baldwin brothers, Billy or William Baldwin. He has a great story in this. Probably the story that I don't remember the most, though, when it comes to this movie, but he has some history. And then the last of the main five we have here is a young Oliver Platt. And Oliver Platt, I think, is such an underrated actor. I love a lot of the stuff that he's been in, but he's the last of the main five in this. And if I remember correct, he's not one that goes under. He's not one that wants to take part in dying and then coming back. So his history doesn't come back to haunt him. You don't really have a history with him because he's not one of the five that goes through the process of dying and then coming back. But I love the cast in this. Again, Joel Schumacher, especially early Joel Schumacher movies, again, like Lost Boys, St. Elmo's Fire, and Flatliners, he was able to bring a great ensemble cast in his movies. And I love the cast in Flatliners. I think they're fantastic. And I think they each bring something special to the movie. So, but yeah, absolutely love the cast. But let's go through some of these comments. Got some love for Jamie Gertz, which I love Jamie Gertz. She's great. Robert Long, you got the Fast Company Blu-ray. What is Fast Company? Let me know what that is. I don't have that one. So, Art, Kevin Bacon. Yes, good old Kevin Bacon. Love me some Kevin Bacon. Jamie says, have you ever seen Satisfaction? It's got Liam Neeson, Justine Bateman, and Julia Roberts. I have not seen it, but I've heard of that one. So that's definitely one I will have to check out. Yes, Art, Kevin Bacon and Stir of Echoes, which we will definitely be talking about that in just a little bit. Oliver Platt, I adore him too, Jamie. I think he's great. Pretty underrated actor. Everything that he's been in, I've loved or really enjoyed. Hey, J Dud, what's going on, buddy? How are you doing? How is your Saturday night? Art says, I want to see Julia Roberts in a modern day horror movie. I do too. I think she's great, obviously, in a lot of romantic comedies and dramas as well. But I love a lot of her thrillers she's been involved with. Again, Sleeping with the Enemy, one of my favorites. That's a pretty. It was a box office hit, but a lot of critics seem to bash that movie, and I just absolutely love it. Again, Flatliners, such a great one. But I would love to see her dive into more thrillers and horror movies again. Definitely. Last Man Standing, was that a Joel Schumacher movie? Let me know, Robert. Will you think of Andrew McCarthy? I love Andrew McCarthy. I think he's great. Mannequin, Pretty in Pink, so many great roles. Andrew McCarthy. I love him. Andrew McCarthy and Rob Lowe in Class. I remember that movie, and I remember really enjoying that film. So it's been a long time since I've seen it. Gotta love 80s and 90s. Some of the best. I want to see Eric Roberts and Julia Roberts in a good movie again. That would be really neat. A brother and sister film again. That would be really cool. Eric Roberts, again, underrated actor. He's been in some great stuff. I agree. You cannot talk 80s movies without bringing up Mannequin. I love Mannequin. Such an awesome 80s movie. I'm glad you're doing good. And then what's going on? How are you doing tonight? Thank you for stopping in. Oh yeah, you know what? Let's see. Rob Lowe, Oscar Blues. It needs a Blu-ray release. I've not seen that one, Robert. And Jamie, Less Than Zero is on my list of films to see. I have that movie. I just need to still watch it. So definitely. But anyway, guys, talked about the cast. Another thing I want to talk about is obviously Joel Schumacher. For me, Uh, One of my favorite directors. He directed, again, a lot of great cult following, cult classic movies out there. Some that really, again, stand out for me. I think probably his most well received, his most popular one is The Lost Boys, which is a classic. I love The Lost Boys, from the soundtrack to the cast to the atmosphere. I just absolutely love The Lost Boys. St. Elmo's Fire, great 80s teen drama, young youth drama. Love St. Elmo's Fire. Uh, Big fan of Phantom of the Opera. One of his, not his last, but one of his last, I think, theatrical movies. I could be wrong, but Phantom of the Opera. Honestly, some great 90s stuff kind of sprinkled throughout the Batman movies. Again, talking Flatliners. I just really love Joel Schumacher. Rest in peace. Just absolutely loved a lot of his movies. So very sad that we lost him. What are some of your favorite Joel Schumacher movies? Please let me know in the comments. I would love to know. But I really liked a lot of, again, talking about Joel Schumacher. He was able to create great atmosphere in movies, but he was able to bring a great cast to his films, great ensemble cast, and yeah, I just absolutely love Joel Schumacher films. So pretty underrated director. Rest in peace. Uh, let's go through some of these comments. Jamie, I will definitely watch that one. Definitely going to put that one on soon. So maybe watch it tonight. Maybe that'll be my film to watch tonight. Again, I have it. I need to watch it. Great cast. Robert Downey Jr., Andrew McCarthy, Jamie Gertz. Love Jamie Gertz. One of my favorites. Robert, yes, just one of the guys. One of my favorite movies. That's going to be one that I need to talk about throughout this stream series, is Just One of the Guys. So maybe that's going to be a future episode I'll talk about. I love that. Talk about that movie in a future stream. Art says, I was taking a liking to the Lost Boys in the last few years. Cool that they filmed in Santa Cruz, a staple of my youth. Awesome. Yes, I love the filming location of the Lost Boys. Fantastic. Fantastic, fantastic. Some love for the Goonies. I love the Goonies, Robert. And especially love Cyndi Lauper. Love her song in that movie. Definitely the Batman Joel film. Definitely the Batman films by Joel. Yes. Batman movies are fun. I think the Batman movies are fun, fun, fun. Did you watch 1980s Up Academy? I have not seen that one, so I need to watch that. Ralph Macchio's in it. I'll have to check it out. I love Ralph. Anybody remember The Bodyguard? I love that film. It's such 80s feel to it. Are you talking? Is it The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston? Let me know. Have you been to California? Yes, Antonis. I haven't been in there in a long time, but I have family in California, so maybe it's been like 10, a little over 10 years since I've been there. Oh, Jamie's brought up some great ones. The number 23, Gossip, 8mm, The Incredible Shrinking Woman, and The Wiz. Great movies. Great movies. See, Joel Schumacher, I love his films because there's so many great films that he's directed, different genres of films, and I love his movies. So pretty underrated director, guys. The Gadget Kid from the Goonies is in the new movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I am so excited to see it. I've yet to see it, but I love the fact that he's returned to acting, and that's his comeback movie, and I just absolutely love that. So definitely need to watch that one soon. Up Academy is a mad TV movie. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to look that one up. So, but anyway, yeah. So another thing that I want to talk about when it comes to Flatliners is talking about kind of favorite elements of it, favorite moments. One, I think the movie is still very suspenseful today. We talked about atmosphere. It has an eerie atmosphere to it. The atmosphere always really stood out to me, and I think that's one of the creepy elements about it. Is you have that atmosphere, and so yeah, watching the movie still today, it's got an eerie effect to it, and I love the atmosphere and I love the suspense in it. The great suspense in the movie. Again, when you get to their past and they're having to confront their past, there's some eerie moments throughout it. And then the music. Again, talking about music in a film, while it doesn't have a soundtrack that really pops out from what I remember, the thing that I do love though is the score. Again, I talked about the opening. I think the opening music is quite creepy, and I just absolutely love it. So, um, do any of you guys have favorite moments of Flatliners if you've seen it? Let me know. Let's see. Going through the comments, no, it's not Whitney. It's about a teen boy getting bullied, hires a tough, quiet guy to bodyguard him. I'll have to check this one out. I don't think I've ever seen this one. So I'll have to check that one out, definitely. Time to Kill. That is a really good movie. Really good movie. So Art says Jamie is the trivia queen. I agree. I agree with that. J-Dad watched The Bodyguard with Whitney, lol. See, Jamie says Flatliners is shot well and looks really good. The blue filter gives it a cool feeling, which fits perfectly with the theme of death. I agree, and that's something I didn't even write down. I love the blue filter to it. I think that creates something really kind of creepy, and like you said, gives a cold feeling. So I really love the blue filter, and I agree, it's shot really well and looks really good. So again, this is an underrated, obscure movie that if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. Definitely watch this one. This is a must watch. My buddy Scott is in here. How are you doing, Scott? Let's see. Matt Dillon, Adam Baldwin. It's called The Bodyguard. I'll have to check that one out, buddy. But Scott, how are you? Cineram, eerie moments. I saw it twice in theaters, and I got all the green lights on. All I got all the green lights all the way home, both times. I got all the green lights on the way home both times. Oh wow. But yeah, this is I agree. I agree, Scott. Some eerie moments through this. This is a creepy movie. It's very effective. Again, not a film that many people talk about. So I'm hoping that if people watch this, that they when they watch the stream, if they watch it, to definitely visit this great obscure '90s film, but a great obscure Joel Schumacher movie. Ben says Flatliners made dying seem almost as cool as the Lost Boys. Lost Boys made turning to a vampire. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, The Lost Boys is a great classic film about vampires, and this movie um, brings obviously death to your face in this movie. So before like Final Destination and all that stuff, we had Flatliners talking about death. So, but yeah, awesome. Two great movies, Flatliners and The Lost Boys. I love them. Let's see. I read that they used colored lights instead of filters. Either way, has a very cool look. I agree. Has a very cool look to the movie. All right, let's see. Oh, happy Easter, everyone. I'm going to make an adult Easter basket a thing in the future. Mine would have wine, cheese, salami, crackers, chocolates, other mini fun goodies. That is awesome. And by the way, happy Easter to everybody. It's Easter weekend, so I hope you all have a great Easter. Whether it's spending time with family, friends, or just having a great day. Have a happy Easter, happy Sunday, and happy weekend to you all. Let's see. J Dead says Flatliners was the first film that made me really question what's afterlife. Love the thought-provoking subject made into an entertaining film. I agree. It really made you think about it. Art says Final Destination is a fantastic franchise. I agree. I agree. Let's see. Scott says it came out the summer before my senior year. Many of my friends enjoyed it, but I guess it's been forgotten somewhat. It has. I mean, it's got a fan base. People know about this movie. People do talk about it, but outside of a lot of other 90s horror movies, 90s thrillers, and just movies in general, it doesn't get enough talk. Um, and I loved going back and rewatching it. Like for me, this movie still holds up really well. From the cast to, again, we talked about the atmosphere, eerie moments, the music, the story, the concept. I mean, this is so many great elements about this movie that I love. Jamie says the characters are dealing with extreme guilt. Every time one of them forgives themselves, the tone warms up. Yes, that's another thing to bring up. Every time that they forgive themselves, that tone, like you said, yeah, it definitely warms up. So it says it works so well. Also reminds me of Silent Hill a bit. Silent Hill a bit. Yes, I agree with that. But yeah, I love a lot of things about this movie. The atmosphere, concept. This is just such a great one. So let's see. Jay Jay says Happy Easter all. Get you all a Cadbury egg and enjoy. I love those candies. Oh, they're so good. Jamie, yes, let's all make it a thing. Think of the creativity. Nice. Scott says 1990 was a huge year for Julia Roberts. Pretty Woman came out a few months earlier. Yes, I talked about that. So yeah, Julie, I think March of 1990 is when Pretty Woman came out. And then again in August you had this movie come out. So um, I don't know. Like, let me know. Was Flatliners? Was it a hit? Was that a hit at the time? I'm pretty sure it was, but again, it's a film, and it was brought up. I think Scott, you mentioned it's kind of drifted off, and not a lot of people talk about it now. But yeah, Julia Roberts, 1990. Yes, that was a pretty pretty huge year for her. Let's see. Flatliners was one of those films that you would go to bed thinking about after watching. Had a few more dreams because of it. Yeah, you really do think about this movie when you finish it. So you definitely do. Makes you think about a lot of things. Think about life. Think about the afterlife. Um, think about like just again for me. I every time I finish this movie, I just think about just certain elements of it. So yeah. Scott, Justin, what's your favorite Joel Schumacher movie? Well, my favorite is The Lost Boys. That's a popular opinion, but I love The Lost Boys. I love what he did with The Lost Boys. My second favorite one though would probably be Flatliners. I'm not gonna lie, I that's probably my second favorite one. But I love a lot of Joel Schumacher movies. Again, rest in peace to him, legend, and he was a legend in my eyes. And I love a lot of his films. But my favorite one is Lost Boys. What's your favorite one, Scott? Art says Eat, Pray, Love is probably the most recent Julie Roberts film I loved. I haven't seen that one. I need to watch that. And then Jamie says, I love Julia Roberts and Closer. I do too. Love that one. Love Sleeping with the Enemy. I just talked about it, but that's a great Julia Roberts movie that I watched not too long ago. Revisited the movie not too long ago. Scott says, sorry, I'm joining late. No problem, Scott. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. I think the movie did well, but not a monster hit like Ghost, Total Recall, and Die Hard 2. Yeah. All four great movies, by the way. Ghost, amazing. Total Recall, I love. Die Hard 2, I love that movie. The first one's the best, but this is the close second. Die Hard 2 is one of my favorite sequels of all time. Art says, speaking of Pretty Woman, I visited the apartment building she lived in the movie. It looks a lot smaller in person, but still a fun moment. That is awesome. Very, very cool. I love going to filming locations. I don't get to go to a lot of them, but when I do, it's fun. So very cool. Jamie says, I wanted to like the Flatliners remake, but I didn't. We're going to talk about that in just a moment because I do have my thoughts on that remake. Art says, I need to see Closer. I love Natalie Portman. Great cast and a great movie. Definitely check that one out. Definitely check it out, Art. And Art says, yeah, Justin, Eat, Pray, Love. Eat, Pray, Love is going to make you want to eat pizza, find balance, and fall in love. Awesome. And Julia Roberts was in another film that makes me want to eat pizza all the time, and that is Mystic Pizza. I love that one too, but I'll have to check out Eat, Pray, Love. I've heard great things about it. Ben says, I really liked Falling Down from Joel Schumacher. He also did a low-budget horror film called Blood Creek that I feel is underrated. That is underrated. I remember really enjoying that movie, Blood Creek. And Falling Down, I've seen parts of it. I need to go back and revisit that one. Again, Joel Schumacher, great movies, guys. He's directed some great films within different genres. Wolf Creek is also a great film. I agree with that. Yes, Jamie. Yeah, she was in Mystic Pizza. She was one of the three main female cast members. You had Lily Taylor, the other actress I'm drawing a blank on, and Julia Roberts. So that's one of my favorite movies is Mystic Pizza. One of my favorite Julia Roberts movies. Antonis, have you visited any movie locations? Only when I went to the Halloween 30 Years of Terror convention, the first day we got to visit a lot of the sets, but I also got to see the church from the fog, which was really cool. And the filming of location of Halloween 2 when Michael's kind of walking through the shopping center, the outside shopping center, and then you have the bar from Halloween 3. So I got to visit some of those locations. See, Art says I want to do the Hollywood tours of horror films and haunted locations. That would be really cool. I agree, J-Dad. Blood Creek is a great flick. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it is a great one. Let's see. Scott says, I do have to go with Flatliners or Phone Booth. Again, a film that I can't believe I forgot to mention that one. I love Phone Booth. I just watched that one last year. Again, I revisited that movie. I've seen it before, but Phone Booth is a great one. And again, Kiefer Sutherland is in the movie. What I love about his performance is you don't see him a lot. You just hear his voice, and it's very effective. And I love the movie. I love the concept. Phone Booth, fantastic. He says, was really excited for Phantom of the Opera, but was disappointed by it. I thought for sure it was a film he was born to make. I really I love Phantom of the Opera, but, I know it got mixed reviews. But Joel Schumacher, again, there's some great movies out there that I think a lot of us love. And he directed a lot of great genre films and subgenre films. Let's see. J Did says Flatliners should get a good remake, better than the one it got. And M Night to get a chance to direct it. I think that's, let's see, M Night Shyamalan should get a chance to direct it. That'd be pretty interesting to see how he would direct that one. But again, I want to talk about the remake in just a moment because I do have my thoughts on it. Art says, Justin, are you going to visit the Halloween locations from the new trilogy in a few years? Maybe. That would be really cool. Yeah, Jamie, I totally forgot about Phone Booth as well. I love that movie. So good. So, so good. When do you think we'll get our first teaser trailer for Halloween Ends? I'm thinking July. I'm just gonna say July right now, or June. But I'm hearing some rumblings. I don't know when we're gonna get it, but I was hearing, kind of within some news that we might get that soon. So very excited to see how this concludes this Halloween story. But anyway, guys, so uh, the last thing to talk about Flatliners, and then I want to talk about some 90s horror movies and thrillers, is the remake that we got, which I do own the remake. I'm kind of a completist. Um, I am a completist. I love owning franchises. Try to own them all if I can. But the Flyliners remake, it was interesting that this movie was getting a remake because, again, Flatliners, the original movie, is not the most well-known film out there. Obviously, people have seen it. There is a fan base for it. But yeah, they remade Flatliners in, what was it, 2017 or 2018? And this was kind of like after the remake craze happened. I feel like when this came out, not a lot of films around this time that Flatliners came out were being remade. This was almost one of those things where the studio wanted to try to find a movie to remake it. The first time I saw it, I didn't care for it. And then I watched it again and I was like, okay, it's not that bad. So I like the remake for what it is. Again, you got a good cast here. You got Keith Sutherland. He comes back, which I'm not going to give too much. He has a cameo in it. It's been out a while, so I'm going to kind of talk about his cameo. But he is in the movie. It's a decent remake. I think it's good. If you didn't like it the first time, I would say go back and watch it. It's not too bad, but it definitely does not hold. It doesn't hold up as well as the original film. So I love it. I love the original Flatliners. I think the remake's pretty good though. It's got some good stuff throughout the movie. It's got some eerie moments. So, but yeah, for me, the original Flatliners is definitely the best. Art says, I heard we might get a mini teaser later this month. That'd be pretty cool. Halloween Ends. But anyway, guys, so Flatliners, kind of concluding my talk of Flatliners. Yeah, definitely go watch it. If you've not seen it, if it's been a while since you've seen it, definitely check out Flatliners. I love the movie. It's one of my favorites. One of my favorite Joel Schumacher films. One of my favorite films from the '90s. And 90s horror movies and thrillers. That's a decade that's has some really good ones out there. But you know, when decades for horror movies and thrillers are brought up, a lot of the times '90s kind of falls under the radar compared to like '80s and '70s, especially '80s horror movies. I think the '80s definitely was. Or it is one of the most talked about decades for horror movies and thrillers. But I love a lot of '90s films that came out. There's some great ones before Scream and after Scream. And I bring up Scream because, when we think about '90s, a lot of the time Scream is the one that really is talked about a lot. It revived the slasher genre. It revived the horror movie genre because before that, even though there's some great ones out there, Scream kind of revived that genre. So I'm not going to talk about Scream too much, but I think when it comes to 90s, Scream is the first thing that really pops up for a lot of people. Heart says, Justin, do you enjoy karaoke nights? I don't get to do a lot of karaoke nights, but I do enjoy some karaoke. Oh yeah, Art says, I will survive. Jennifer Love Hewitt. I still know we did last summer. Yes. I love, by the way, I know we did last summer, and I still know we did last summer. Great movies there. Fun films. Best 90s horror movie, Seven, but Scream was the trendsetter. Trendsetter. Can't talk tonight. But yeah. Seven, I've actually never seen it. I need to watch that. Again, I own it in a double pack. I need to watch that one. Early 90s had some good ones like Candyman. I love Candyman. In the Mouth of Madness. Fantastic one, Jamie. Love that. Yes, Art says In the Mouth of Madness. Grandma's House. I've never seen it. I'll have to check that one out. Everyone guessed Justin's karaoke song. There's probably a lot of karaoke songs for me that I like to sing. Jamie says I did a karaoke cover of Fleetwood Mac's Landslide and posted it on my channel. That is awesome, Jamie. I love that song. American Gothic, great one. I know. I'm sorry. I know. I haven't seen Seven yet. I need to watch that. Art says My Grandma's House could be considered a horror movie. That's funny. But anyway, guys, I want to bring up some 90s horror movies, some that I've kind of piled up. Obviously, Jamie brought it up, but Candyman, great one. Love Candyman. Very excited to get the 4K of this. So this is one of my favorites. But Candyman, absolutely love it. One of the scariest movies in my opinion. Amazing performances. Tony Todd, Virginia Madsen. Such a great movie. I love that. Another one of my favorite 90s ones is Wes Craven's New Nightmare. This is actually my favorite Elm Street movie, but just watched this one a couple weeks ago. Went to revisit this movie again, and I absolutely love it. So great 90s one here. Heather Langenkamp, just amazing in this. Gives one of my favorite performances in a movie. Absolutely love Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Obviously before Scream, and it's a film that I was surprised when I heard that Wes Craven's New Nightmare wasn't the biggest hit that it was, but over time, it's got a fan base. So I think Scream helped. I think Scream helped make Wes Craven's New Nightmare more of a fan a film that people would love later on. Jamie says, when did The People Under the Stairs come out? That's a good one. I think that was 1990 or 1991, but that's a great Wes Craven movie too. I love that. Probably my favorite 90s horror movie is Bride of Chucky. That's one of my favorites. I love that one. Yes, Jamie, New Nightmare, sold. I love New Nightmare. Absolutely love it. That is my favorite of the Elm Street movies. Such a great things about the movie. It's well directed. I love the story. I love the fact that Robert Englund is so scary in that movie. He's very creepy. And we also get to see another side of Robert Englund, him playing himself. And outside of the makeup, he does a great job, great performance. But again, Heather Langenkamp, just amazing in it. Let's see 1997's Nowhere. Hopefully it will get a Blu-ray soon. I've never seen that, so I'll have to check that one out. Or maybe I have. Maybe I have. Justin, if you were to turn into a demon like in Night of the Demons, what kind of mayhem would you ensue? I don't know. Not sure. Not sure. But what I love about Night of the Demons is how creative the looks are. Like every demon looks different in that movie. So 1985's Poison Ivy needs to be on Blu-ray with Michael J. Fox. I've never seen that one. I'll have to check that out. Sean, how are ya? He mentions Nightbreed. Great movie. Great 90s one right there. And then Robert, I think he's talking about People Under the Stairs. Sweet, 1991. Yeah, 1991. That's what I was thinking. Art says, I was thinking Poison Ivy with Drew Barrymore. That is a great 90s one right there. Ben says Urban Legend is one of my favorite 90 is one of my 90s faves. I hold it up there with Scream. I love Urban Legend. That is such a great one. That might be another one I talk about at some point. Part of the stream series that I have is Urban Legend because that one came out after Scream and I know we did last summer, and out of those three, it's definitely an underrated one. From Dusk Till Dawn, great movie and a great twist. I agree. Robert says, "You got the brain, I got the body." Freddy Krueger. Great line in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. One of my favorite Freddy lines. Jamie says, trying to pick a favorite horror movie from the 90s is difficult. I don't know if I liked Vampires or Stigmata better. I've only seen parts of Stigmata, so I need to go and watch that. But I love Vampires. That brings back Blockbuster days, going and renting Vampires on VHS. Great 90s one there. Oh yeah, oh, this is a good one. The original When a Stranger Calls was on TV the other night. First hour is constantly the best, or is on not constantly, is honestly the best. Yes, the first hour definitely is. I love the first 20 minutes with Carol Kane, and then I love the ending with Carol Kane. 90s. Speaking of 90s, and I forgot to pull that one out, but When a Stranger Calls Back is a great 90s sequel to the original When a Stranger Calls. If you've never seen When a Stranger Calls Back, please go watch that. Talking about 90s horror movies and thrillers, I love When a Stranger Calls Back. Let me see if I can get that one. Let's see. It's right there at the very end. But yeah, When a Stranger Calls Back from 1993. So that is a great one, guys. When a Stranger Calls Back. That's actually my favorite. I actually prefer it over When a Stranger Calls. I used to love snow caps from the video stores. Snow caps are great. That was a great thing about video stores is like you'd get your movies and your popcorn and then you get your favorite candy. Yeah, I loved it. Friday nights, guys, going to the video stores. Miss those days. Amazing Stories needs a Blu-ray release. I've not seen that one. Interview with the Vampire may be considered a horror movie. I consider it a horror movie. I love Interview with the Vampire. Scott, you bring up a great one. Event Horizon. Absolutely love Event Horizon. And I totally forgot to pull that one, but I love that movie. That's such a great 90s horror movie that I wish we would be able to see the director's cut. I wish we have the director's cut because I hear it's pretty intense. Red Vines, yes, Red Vines, classic candy right there. I love that. And I agree, Jamie. Event Horizon is awesome. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna go through a pile of 90s. We're talking some great 90s horror movies right now, guys. But I pulled some 90s horror movies out too. Jamie, you just brought up the first one, Stir of Echoes from 1999. So this came out the same year as Blair Witch Project, and this one went nowhere. Like no one really talked about it. It has a cult following now, but it's a pretty underrated 90s horror movie. Underrated movie in general, but I love Stir of Echoes. This is definitely one of my all-time favorites. Such a creepy movie too. Very creepy movie. Great Kevin Bacon movie. Absolutely love it. Um, but yeah, Stir of Echoes, guys. If you've never seen this one, this is a must-watch. I won't give too much away because it has some great twists and turns throughout it, but one of Kevin Bacon's best performances, and such a creepy movie. Such an eerie film, guys. So, but yeah, Stir of Echoes. Amazing movie. And I just picked up this what is Imprint Films release. And I'm excited to dig into a lot of the new bonus features. So, but Stir of Echoes, that is such a great movie from the 90s. Absolutely love it. Sean says Wishmaster, LOL. The first time I saw Wishmaster, I didn't love it as much, and now I love that film. I went and watched it a couple years ago. I think it's great. Great 90s fun there. Talking about video store days, I remember seeing that cover for Wishmaster and just being really intrigued by the cover. Dark Knight of the Scarecrow was brought up. I love that movie. Great 1980s movie right there. I love that. Great TV movie. Art, I do too. Got some great movies to talk about. I know, Scott. I would love to see, if it were to ever happen, I would love to see the director's cut. But like you said, the footage was destroyed, so we'll never get to see that. Such a shame because I think Event Horizons is a creepy, effective movie as it is, but like if we got to see the director's cut, I hear it's scarier. I heard it was a better version of the film. Cotton candy, yes, Robert. I got cotton candy at the video stores. I agree, Jamie. Wishmaster is a classic. But another 90s one that I want to bring up. So, Stir of Echoes, fantastic one. If you guys have never seen it, definitely watch it. But I I really love this movie, and that is Disturbing Behavior. We talk about some teen horror movies that came out in the 90s, and this was one of those films that came out after Scream, and was kind of piled within all those films. And talking about teen horror movies, this is one of the underrated ones from the 90s, late 90s. Great cast here. This was the teen version of Stepford Wives, almost similar to Stepford Wives. And I absolutely love this. Disturbing Behavior. If you've never seen it, James Marsden, Katie Holmes, Nick Stahl from Terminator 3 and so many other great ones. Katie Holmes and again James Marsden. This is such a great one, guys. I remember seeing this one for the first time on TV. I think it was like the Sci-Fi Channel, and being really intrigued by it and watching the whole thing and loving it. So, but yeah, Disturbing Behavior, great 90s film here, guys. 90s horror movie, 90s thriller. Absolutely love it. If you love like the teen 90s films that we had, if you've never seen Disturbing Behavior, it's not a slasher movie, but it's a really good thriller, guys. Really good suspenseful thriller. So, Disturbing Behavior, absolutely love it. Scott says, "Are you aware of the director's cut description of Event Horizon that we could have read?" I know a little bit about it. I know Paul W. Anderson has talked about that version of the film, and I just know it's a much scarier. It was a much scarier version of Event Horizon. Yes, Disturbing Behavior, Jamie. Glad to see some love from you. Glad to see some love from you for that movie. It's a great one. Teaching Mrs. Tingle. Great movie. Almost pulled that one out and I forgot it. But yeah, Teaching Mrs. Tingle. Kevin Williamson, talking about Kevin Williamson, he wrote a lot of great 90s thrillers and horror movies. Still working today. But yeah, I love Kevin Williamson. Love Teaching Mrs. Tingle. I believe he directed that one. Life Force with that's a great one right there. I love Life Force. Underrated Toby Hooper movie. Let's see. Stepford Wives. Yeah, Robert Long loved the Stepford Wives. Invasion of the Body Snatchers. That's a great one, Robert. And then Body Snatchers from the 90s. That's a fun one. Another one I want to talk about is talk about more 90s thriller, and that is The Crush with Alicia Silverstone. This was such a great one that came out from 93, I believe. One of Alicia Silverstone's earliest movies. Gary Ellis, hopefully I'm saying that right. And then Jennifer Rubin from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and Bad Dreams. But this was such a fun early 90s thriller. And it came out like after what's the movie? Fatal Attraction. You had a lot of films that came out after Fatal Attraction and Basic Instinct that were very similar concepts, similar stories. But The Crush, this was such a great one from the 90s, and I absolutely love this. So, Alicia Silverstone, great movie there. If you've never seen it, definitely check it out. Absolutely love that. Art says The Stepford Wives is one of my top 10 favorite novels of all time. The original film from 1975 is awesome. I agree. I love the original Stepford Wives. Awesome movie. Robert says, I love Apollo 18, 2011 movie. I really enjoyed that one. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Moon Rocks with Spiders came out. I've not, is that, I've never heard of that one. Jamie says an underrated movie from the 90s is Thinner. Yep, that is a great one right there. Been a while since I've seen it, but that is a great one. But yeah, I agree, Jamie. The Crush is fantastic. Definitely a fantastic one. Another one that I love from the 90s, and we're talking more thriller-based films, is Fear with Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon. 96, I believe. I think this came out couple months either after. Yeah, it came out before Scream, so it came out the same year. But Fear kind of fell under the radar. It got talked about back in the 90s, kind of went away for a little bit, but it has a fan base still. And I love Fear. This is such a great one. Again, Mark Wahlberg's in it. He plays the villain, one of the creepiest villains in a movie. Reese Witherspoon, one of her first movies. I think this was not her first movie, but this was like before Cruel Intentions and Legally Blonde and all those movies. But she's great in this. And then you have Alyssa Milano, who was in a lot of 80s, 90s stuff. Charmed, Who's the Boss? So many great cult following movies. But I love Fear. This is such a great 90s thriller. One of my favorites. When I think 90s, this is one of the first ones that definitely pops up. So I love that. Species, yes, Scott. That's a great one too. Totally forgot to pull that one out, but I love Species. Yeah, I had to bring it up, Jamie. Fear is fantastic. I love that. Again, when I think 90s, that's one that like really pops in my head. That's one of the first ones. I love Fear so much. I agree, Robert. That's one of the toughest scenes for me to watch in the movie, is that scene. I agree, Robert. 1996, you had some great movies come out that year. You had Scream, you had Fear. Yeah, 1996 was a great year. Yeah, So yeah, I agree, Scott. When I kind of brought up this list and was thinking about it, I was thinking thrillers and horror movies. I think '90s was just an underrated year for thrillers and horror movies. So I wanted to bring up different. I wanted to bring up different thrillers and horror movies from the '90s. Yeah, Robert's talking about Mark Wahlberg. Great movies from Mark. I've never seen Basketball Diaries. I need to check that one out. Are they really? Wow, Robert, I did not know this. That's pretty awesome. Distant cousins. Very cool. But another '90s one to bring up, and again, we're talking, this is after Scream, so you had a lot of the teen horror movies and thrillers come out, and that's The Faculty, which is a great one. So, love The Faculty. It's been a while since I've seen this, but I remember the movie came out and a lot of people talked about it, and then over the years, it's kind of fell under the radar a little bit. It still has a fan base, but it's compared to a lot of '90s thrillers and horror movies that came out. The Faculty kind of again fell under the radar over time, but love The Faculty again. Great cast, great moments throughout it. Um, yeah, this is awesome. I remember The Faculty from Jamie mentions it was so good on the big screen. My first memories with The Faculty again were renting it from Blockbuster. So Blockbuster days again. I have a lot of Blockbuster days, but The Faculty was definitely one of them. I remember when it came out on VHS and renting the movie, and this is one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. Robert Rodriguez directed it. It's almost one of his forgotten movies. Is this Robert Rodriguez movie? And it's written by Kevin Williamson. So you got two great people behind the movie and a great cast. Art says The Faculty is iconic, in my opinion. I agree. I think it's iconic. I love it. Robert says the country girl accent was cool. Yep, I remember her in the movie. Dead Presidents. I've not seen that one. I need to watch that one, Robert. And then, Robert, you mentioned Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. That is one of my favorite Halloween films. I love it. Such a great one. Reading through these comments, guys. Let's see. Robert says, "Well, I'm from." I knew she was going to talk right there. Cool. So another '90s one, Super Troopers. Robert mentioned Super Troopers. That's a fun one right there. Another '90s one that I love, guys, is Bad Moon, which is kind of underrated. Not a lot of people talk about Bad Moon. Love Bad Moon, guys. Great werewolf movie. Great '90s flick. This is a great Blu-ray, by the way. So if you guys have not picked up this Blu-ray, if you guys have never seen the movie, this has two different cuts of the film on there. I love the director's cut. That is the one to watch. But Bad Moon, that's a pretty underrated '90s horror movie right there, and it's a great Blu-ray from Scream Factory. So never seen Bad Moon. Art, you need to definitely put this on your list of movies to watch. So if you love werewolf movies, this is kind of an obscure, underrated one. So, but yeah, Bad Moon, I love that. I absolutely love that one. Art says, I guess my favorite werewolf movie is Twilight. Hey, and he said, LOL, but I really enjoy the Twilight movies. I know that's crazy to say, but I really enjoy it. Jamie, I forgot Wolf from 1994, but you bring that up because I do own it and I totally forgot to get it. But I love Wolf. Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer, James Spader. such a creepy role that James Spader plays in that movie. But I love Wolf. Love Wolf. That is such a great werewolf movie, and such a great movie in general. I love that. Love Wolf. If you guys have not seen Wolf with Jack Nicholson and Michelle Pfeiffer, definitely check that one out. Robert says Michelle Pfeiffer and Jack Nicholson eating peanut butter together. I remember that. But yeah, Wolf is a great one. That is a great one right there. And then Fire in the Sky, Jamie, that's another great one. She brings up Fire in the Sky, another great 90s one right there. So, one again that I absolutely love. Art brings up The Wolf of Wall Street. True, very true. And then the last 90s one that I pulled out of this stack is Brain Scan. Great. Again, I say great 90s movies, but these are all great, and you guys are bringing up some great ones too. But Brain Scan was a really fun movie from 94. For some reason, I thought this was 91, but 94 with Edward Furlong. Love Brain Scan. Again, when I think of 90s, this is one of those first ones that pops up in my head, but I love Brain Scan. Have you guys seen Brain Scan? Let me know. I think it's got some fun, eerie visuals in there. It's got a great villain in the movie. Um, Absolutely love Brain Scan. Brain Scan. The Trickster, yes, Robert. The Trickster is the villain. Absolutely love the Trickster. Very creepy villain too. I like his look in the movie. Talking about some Grease 2 in here. I love Michelle Pfeiffer on Grease 2, 1982, 40 years ago. Michelle Pfeiffer, Grease 2. I love it. That's actually probably my favorite Michelle Pfeiffer movie. I love Grease 2. Which is crazy to say because Michelle Pfeiffer has been in some amazing stuff, but I love Grease 2. And Art says, Robert, Grease 2 is a very entertaining movie, with alcohol even more. That's funny. But anyway, guys, those are some 90s ones that I just kind of pulled out. There's so many other great 90s horror movies and thrillers out there. But yeah, that's the little stack that I pulled out. But you guys have mentioned some great ones. Let's see. Antana says I saw Brain Scan once. Definitely a good one. Definitely a good one. I really love Brain Scan. And Scott says Brain Scan. I was trying to remember the name of that one. It's one to go back and revisit. It's a fun one. Ben says I saw Edward Furlong at a con and tr- tried to have him sign my Brain Scan with Buddies Forever. He didn't know how to spell buddies. Oh. Edward Furlong, some great 90s films. Pet Cemetery 2, Terminator 2, Brain Scan. Robert says Grease 2 is better than Grease 1. I agree with that, Robert. I love Grease 1, but Grease 2, I love it. Some Grease 2 love in here. Jamie Hart's Grease 2. I love it. Ben, this is a great one. Dr. Giggles, one of my faves from the 90s too. So Over the Top. It's over the top, but that is a great 90s slasher movie. But anyway, guys, I'm going to be wrapping this one up soon, this live stream. So if you guys have any questions now, please feel free to ask some questions, guys. I will say my next retrospective and memories is going to be on 2005's House of Wax, which was one of the later films that I'm going to be talking about as far as like obscure, underrated ones. But I know it's going to have an anniversary coming up soon, so I'm definitely going to be talking about House of Wax next. House of Wax? That's going to be my next episode. So I think at the end of August. Art says, "Are you trying to go clubbing tonight?" I might be. I might be clubbing. No, I'm gonna hang out with a buddy of mine soon, so we're gonna watch a movie. I'm not sure yet, but we're gonna watch some movie coming up soon. Scott brings up Ransom. That is a great one. It's been a while since I've seen it. And then Jamie says, "Yay! Love House of Wax. I do too." And then Ben, you're a big fan of it as well. So awesome. Computer Dreams, Robert. I've never seen Computer Dreams. I'll have to check that one out. And Art says, "Is it a Netflix movie?" It's definitely not a Netflix movie, but we're gonna watch something. Definitely gonna watch something. We watched this one last night called Aspen Extremes from 1990 maybe or 1991, and that was a fun like snowboarding type of movie, skiing movie, snow skiing type of movie, which I thought that was a pretty fun one. Reading through your comments, guys. Scott says, "I don't love House of Wax, but I'm Alicia Kubrick fan for life." Awesome. I love Alicia Kubrick. Great actress. What's up, Antonis? You got a question for me, buddy? Definitely let me know. Robert says, "I got Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest for $5. Sweet." And he said video stores was selling stuff. Video stores had some amazing stuff that you can purchase. Video games, movies, I miss them. Yes, Art. I've definitely seen Cool Runnings. That's a fun one. That is a fun movie. Great movie. Antana says, "Did you watch Scream 5 special features on the copy you got?" I've only seen one special feature right now, and that is the tribute to Wes Craven, and I just thought that was so beautiful. Absolutely loved it. Beautiful tribute to Wes. But I have to watch the other ones. Definitely have to watch the other ones. Art, I agree. Both House of Wax movies are great. Ben says, "Do you have any action figures or otherwise?" Yes, I do. I don't have a lot of action figures, but I do collect them, and the ones I have, like when I purchase them, I try to pick like obscure ones that kind of stand out. So like I have a Kurt Russell Thing figure, which I love, a Victor Crowley one. I might have to show those in a video at some point, but I do have some figures. Roddy Dangerfield. I agree, Robert. You gotta love him. Classic, classic. Scott says, "Justin, have you chosen a guest for your Scream Queens video?" I have not. I have not yet. So I did a top 10 Scream Queens video, or a top 10 Ladies of Horror video last weekend, but I'm thinking about doing like a Scream Queens live chat. So I have not picked a guest yet. Art says, "How many Funko Pops do you own, and when are we gonna see a Justin Funko, glasses and all?" That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool to have a Funko Pop of me. And I don't. I mean, I have quite a bit of Funko Pops, but I don't have a lot of them displayed anymore. Most of them are boxed up. But let's see. But yeah, I do have quite a bit of them. Season 1 of Scream Queens was great. I agree. I agree. I haven't seen season 2 yet. Let's see. Ben says, would love to get a view of your figures. I'll definitely have to do a video sometime on the figures. Maybe do a collection video. Even though I don't have a lot of them, I will definitely do a video showing you my my horror movie figures that I have. And thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. I do write a lot of stuff. I have to get back into writing, but that's one of my passion, my hobbies is writing. I love writing. Let's see. How would you say Short Round in Indiana Jones 5? Be cool if they brought back Short Round in Indiana Jones 5. Jamie, I would absolutely love to do a collab video with you. So we'll definitely have to talk about that. Definitely would love to do that. That would be awesome. I would love to do that. Maybe we'll do a retrospective and memories or some type of stream. Definitely, Jamie. I would love to do a collab with you. Maybe talk some Twin Peaks because I love Twin Peaks. I know you're a big Twin Peaks fan as well. Let's see. We're going to see a grown Short Round. Is he going to be in Indiana Jones 5? I know he's in the new movie that just came out, and I'm glad he's acting again. I think that's pretty cool. Jamie, I don't have a Twitter. I need to get a Twitter. So I will definitely get a Twitter. I know I've talked to I think Ken had mentioned from Sledgehammer Horror that I need to get a Twitter, so I'll definitely do that. Do you have an Instagram? I can't remember if you have an Instagram or not. Either way, we'll try to definitely uh, message each other and figure out a collab video to do because I'd love to do a collaboration with you. Jamie says, "Did you know that I'm in a Twin Peaks fan film?" I did not know that. That's really awesome. That is so cool. And she says, "And I am now and forever a part of the Black Lodge. I play a pixie." That is so cool, Jamie. So cool. Twin Peaks is I'd love to do a video dedicated about Twin Peaks. That's something that I need to work on because I love Twin Peaks. Absolutely love it. It's actually a series that I want to go back and rewatch soon. It's been a while since I've seen it. But anyway, guys, let's see. Art says, Jamie, where can we watch this fabulous thing? Definitely let us know, Jamie. But anyway, guys, I'm going to be wrapping this one up soon in about 5 minutes. So if you guys have any other questions or comments, definitely post them. Robert brings up the Go-Go's. I love the Go-Go's, but I'm a big Cyndi Lauper fan too. Jamie, you have a Facebook. Okay. Well, Jamie, I will look you up on Facebook. And then I'm Justin Ryan on Facebook too. So, But yeah, we will definitely get together and do a collab video because I'd love to do a collab video with you. But anyway, guys, gonna wrap this up again. About 5 more minutes on here, but this was so much fun to talk about Flatliners. Again, if you've never seen it, definitely watch it. Must watch. And then 90s horror movies, 90s thrillers and 90s horror movies. A great decade, definitely. And then if you want to see the Twin Peaks fan film that Jamie's in, it's Annie Blackburn's YouTube channel. I will definitely have to check that out. But anyway, guys, I hope you all have a happy Easter. I hope it's a great one. I hope you're having a great weekend, guys. I really appreciate you guys joining the chat, joining the stream, joining the chat, talking with me. I always love talking with you guys. It's always so much fun. And like I said, the next retrospective and memories will be on House of Wax. So I'll figure out that date, and I'll definitely post and let you guys know when that's going to happen. So, okay, Jamie, sounds great. Yeah, definitely look me up on Facebook. You'll see my face on there. So, and we'll definitely talk about a collaboration video because I love to do that. That would be so much fun. Always a pleasure talking with you. And likewise with everybody. I love talking with you guys. I think next weekend I am going to do a stream, but it's just going to be a hangout stream. So haven't done like just a regular hangout stream on my channel in a while. So I think next Saturday, I'll definitely do a stream, but that'll be just kind of a broad discussion type of video just to hang out with you guys. And thank you, Art. I really appreciate it. And you're welcome. Happy Easter to you. Enjoy your channel. Live it up. Pour it up. That's right. Thank you, Art. Appreciate it. And yes, I love a good hangout too. So next Saturday, it's just going to be a hangout video, guys. And maybe I'll do like a live tour of the movie room. Kind of show you some of my favorite things. So that'd be great. Thank you, Scott. Great to chat with you too, buddy. Thank you for stopping in. Scott's been a great person that I've got to talk to for over a decade now. And really loved your videos. I love your movie knowledge. I love talking with you. So, Scott, you're a great guy. Always great chatting with you. Thank you for stopping in tonight. But anyway, guys, really appreciate you all stopping in. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for watching this. I really appreciate it. You guys are the best. So thank you for stopping in and talking with me. I really appreciate that. And Art says, yes, we want a Justin World Tour 2022. That'll happen next week. I will be doing a fun live chat with you guys, just chatting with you guys next Saturday, and I'll show you guys the movie room. I did reorganize the movie collection, so this is now kind of like my boutique wall right here. So, bye. Great talking with you. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. But anyway, guys, wrapping this up in a couple minutes. Just want to say much love to you all. Remember to always be yourself because you're amazing and you're beautiful. Love yourself. Enjoy life. Be who you are. You guys are amazing. So amazing, amazing people. But anyway, guys, really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you for chatting with me. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. You guys are the best. And, I'm so grateful to get to know you guys and talk with you guys. And thank you, Art. That really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. But anyway, guys, I'm going to be wrapping this up now. I love you guys. happy Easter once again. You guys are amazing, and I'm so blessed to know you guys and to chat with you. So much love to you all. Have a great rest of the weekend. And once again, happy Easter. And I'll talk to you guys soon. So love you all. Definitely go watch Flatliners if you've never seen it. And watch some great movies in general, guys. All right. Much love.